forgot Dave Gastelum was going to be here tonight too to give a short report. So sorry, Dave, but you're on right now.
Oh, okay. That's all. You know, I fly by the seat of my pants a lot. I don't have much for you. I just 5 minutes and I'm done. I've tried to make a point to speak to the board and have a new board member because a lot of these teachers have had their names on their child's report card through the years, and a lot of you have seen those names before. No, mine never appears on that. So, as you may know or may not know, Shirley, I teach title and reading here, and that has changed a lot over the last 13 years or 14 years, so we've got a couple of things going on. I kind of wanted to talk to you tonight a little bit about some of the changes that are happening in our school since we've kind of brought in, since we've had major change in the last 2 years. You know, we went from a 6th grade building to a K4 building, or pre-K4 building, and what that's meant. One of the other things that's come with that is our delivery of reading intervention and how we are looking at our students. One of the things that's become a really big positive for us is that we've gone to a bi-weekly setting where we are looking at kids who are in need of intervention, who are in need of help, and we're watching their growth and monitoring. Are we doing it? Are we doing enough for them? Can we back off of this one and give more to that one, kind of thing. And that seems to be really helping. You know, we're seeing some real significant change for a lot of kids. I was just kind of going through some numbers, and I know you get a lot of numbers thrown at you. But we had started the year with 84 kids in intervention for reading only in this building. And that seems like a lot, and we've now got it down to 70. Okay, so it's happening. We are making those changes. You know, we don't consider a kid fixed, but we kind of take them off the list after they do their bi-weekly testing 3 periods in a row of acceptable and making their goals that we want to make. That has been, you know, pretty impressive to me, you know, to be able to monitor those results and then see it change. And that's taken a lot of work from our administration to really push that through, because it's hard to change. It's hard to change an old dog, but it's hard to change a whole lot of old dogs, you know, who see this as a new thing for them. And it does take a lot of, I'm sure it's a lot of tension at some point, you know, for our administration. So that's a pretty good thing. Personally, some changes have gone on for me. I've been now teaching 2 periods at the middle school, and that's kind of a weird thing for me. I'm kind of used to worrying about my kids a lot, my reading kids, you know, and I see them in a different setting for the last 14 years of, you know, I'm across the table from my 3 or 4 or 2 or whatever group of kids, and so I know them pretty well. And I know where I kind of feel like I know where the holes are, and now I'm kind of doing this thing with the whole group of kids. But it's been kind of real positive as well, in the sense that it comes back for me to know pretty simply I enjoy teaching. Yes, it's pretty fun. I have a good time with my kids, and you know, as will be clear, I am no typist, but I'm teaching them today, and that's really hard for me. But we, you know, they seem to find a way to listen to the instruction that I do give, and they're doing their job, and it's just fun to watch them start to take off and do this thing that I find really hard to do. It's really hard for me to type. And so, yeah, they look at me and go, you can't type as fast as I can. I know. I'm trying real hard, too. So that's been an interesting thing. It is a difference. I don't know, you know, how that works. That's hopefully a temporary setting, as we've talked before. Yes.
Dave, you've been in the elementary school before, so you had 6th grade. Now, are you trying to tell me you have the 7th and 8th as well?
No. We have
5th and 6th.
I'm teaching 5th and 6th keyboarding.
Okay.
During
and
the 2 periods.
You still have time for all the Title I kids that are in the lower elementary?
That's hard to say. We're shifting people around. I'm only seeing 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade now students. The other kids that are in intervention are getting instruction from classroom, kindergarten and 1st grade teachers because of the what do you say, the smaller population that we're having in those grades right now, that they're kind of scheduling that a little differently. So that's
you don't
kind
do the intervention or anything with them there
nope.
in those 2 grades at all?
I am not seeing the 1st and 2nd, or kindergarten and 1st graders.
We have 27 kids in kindergarten and 23 in 1st grade, and those teachers do their own reading intervention.
And I did a quick run on that. There's 8 kindergartners, or 8. There was 11 kindergartners in intervention. At the beginning of the year, there's now 8 as we've kind of gone through our process, so it's working for them. There was 11 in first grade, and there's still 11, but that's because we're changing their goals. There's some kids making improvements with the interventions that are happening in those grades, but we're changing their goals more because the first graders are expected to do a little bit more along the way. We have a big group in that second grade, and there was 25 to begin with, and now there's 23. And in third was 19, now 12, and fourth was 18, now 16. So it's working. We're getting where we need to go. Could it be better? Probably. That's probably the truth. We can always make things better. Well, what's the answer to most questions? Time and money. Kids need time, and more intensity means more time.
How many did you have in third and fourth? I missed one.
Oh, I'm sorry. We had 19, and now we are at 12. We had 18, now we're at 16. And like I said, we kind of review this every 2 weeks, so it does stay somewhere around those numbers, but it changes.
What happens if you start out with 19 and right now there's 12? What that means is there are 12 kids that still haven't met their goal. They weren't bumped out because he's teaching keyboarding.
Right.
It's because they've met the goal we had set for them at the beginning of intervention.
Right, and that's something I was going to kind of just let you know that I can't really show you the notes because they've got names all of them, but we do a weekly chart of by week of what we've done differently, what their scores were, and where we think they should go the next time. We take the notes. Do we just continue, or do we do a different intervention? Do we change their delivery? That kind of. So we're doing a pretty good job in case of seeing what it is that we want them to do, and then tracking that thing. And when you're charting progress, you can really kind of examine your impact a lot better. So that's been kind of a neat thing for us to go through, and I do think our teachers are really welcoming that now. Maybe there's a little delivery change in that could happen. It is an awful lot of time. It is time spent, but it is valuable time. It's working. We're seeing some good things for our kids. But we're measuring our readers differently now than we were 3 years ago. We're just doing a different thing altogether with how we're measuring a good quality reader. It's just different. Better? Worse? I don't know. Different. And so, by doing BRI across our building, that's the basic reading inventory, which is another presentation. But it is a different way of measuring the quality of reader. So we're kind of getting up to speed with that and doing our thing and trying to get our kids to do a better job. And we're trying to do a better job concentrating on teaching a specific type of skill. So we're doing the different. Anyway, I don't have much more for you. Things are going all right. Elementary's holding together. So.
Are we allowed to ask questions?
Oh, sure.
My question is, you just said there's 11 kids out of the first grade class that are already having problems reading. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so half the class. So the teacher is not only trying to teach the basics, now she's with half of the class trying to catch them up to reading. So where is it better to have you over teaching typing when you're already laying the foundation with our kindergarten and first grade? Almost half the class and both of them are failing at reading. Not failing, but are below.
In need of intervention.
Right. So how is that better to have you over
I can't
typing?
tell you that that's better. I can tell you I know that the way that this all came about was a situation that happened within the school setting, and that's how it came about. That's what I know.
Right. Well, I understand that, but okay, so maybe now we need to rethink that, because half the class of kindergarten and first graders are not meeting the level, and yet this is our foundation for reading. So shouldn't he be pulled back into reading?
But remember, we only have 23 students, so we've got
half of them aren't reading.
But listen, we've got 2 full-time teachers. So one of those teachers can be doing intervention with small groups of kids, which would be taking the place of him, because we would have classes typically that would have had 15 or 18 or 20 students. Then he would have been pulling those students out. But what we're telling you is there are 23. There are half as many kids, and we have 2 licensed teachers. And those 2 actually know the curriculum and can perform those interventions without taking away from the rest of the kids.